Good evening, brothers and sisters. I am back again with another video. It's a late night, and I am in the book of Matthew here, Matthew 24. And I want to start this video off by reading verses 6 and 7. And this is Jesus talking to the disciples about the times that are going to come before he returns to the earth. And basically, he told them, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and see that you not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass. But the end is not yet. Now, I think it's safe to say that we have heard some wars and rumors of wars really for quite some time, the past couple of years, especially last month. With the Iran and the USA situation. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that coming in the future. Now, let's go to verse 7, and it says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilence, and earthquakes in divers places. Now, this last part is very important, folks. Very, very important. And if you notice, I am talking a little low because it's 12:30 a.m. and everybody's asleep, and I don't want to wake anybody up. But I've been meaning to talk about this for a couple of weeks, and I kept putting it off, and I don't want to put it off anymore. I want to go ahead and do it and put it on the channel and let you guys look at this for yourself, and we'll just talk about it as we go. But going down here to verse 7, where it says famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places, that is going on as we speak. As we speak. Pestilences, which are basically like viruses, sickness, illnesses. The talk of the town is the coronavirus. This thing is getting out of hand. It's all over the place right now. I've just read stories about cases of Americans getting it that have just gotten off a cruise ship from Japan. And, at first they said this was something that was under control, but it's obviously not under any type of control, because if it was, then it would have been localized and not in different parts of the world. So we have a problem with that. Earthquakes. There have been a lot of earthquakes taking place, I've been hearing about them in Mexico and in Puerto Rico and places. They've been in diverse places, and it's like an increase, so to speak. If they've really been popping up all over the place. And if you go to usgs.com, which is basically an earthquake tracker, you'll see for yourself that they are more frequent than they've ever been. So, it's just something to see the Bible come to life. And the things that Christ said would happen before he arrived are occurring right now. But I want to focus on famines. Okay? Because, bear with me, this story, folks, is a story that, let's see, I'm trying to find something. Here we go, this way. Here it is. This story right here is one I feel that it's not really being covered enough. And I think that it's very, very important. This is from the Drudge Report. And the story is called like something out of the book of Exodus. Locust armies are devouring farms in Kenya in as little as 30 seconds. Now, the Drudge Report had been reporting on this for a couple of weeks, like I said. But I don't know. I just put it off. I didn't feel led to say anything at the moment, but now I'm like, something's got to be said because it's getting pretty serious over in Africa right now, like very serious, folks. I'll just read some of this. I'm not going to read it all. You go ahead and do your research and look it up. It says locust armies numbering in the billions. The billions, people. The billions. I mean, this literally sounds like an attack on Pharaoh. It says in the billions are absolutely ravaging large portions of East Africa and vast stretches of the Middle East. And I'll go down a little bit where it says, let's just go ahead and read that too. We're being told that these locust armies are unprecedented in size and in scope, which means that we have never seen anything like this before. And as you see below, the UN continues to warn that the number of locusts could get 500 times bigger by June. Let that sink in for a second. 500 times bigger a locust. I mean, what is a 500 time size locust when the locusts themselves are not really tiny? I can't imagine what that's going to look like, and this is going to be a humongous problem if it is. I'm just going to continue to read, but even if the plague ended right now, millions of people would still be facing a devastating famine in the months ahead. Those locusts travel in swarms up to 40 miles wide. Wow, 40 miles wide, folks. A swarm of 40 miles wide. Each one can eat an equivalent of its own body weight every day, and swarms can travel close to 100 miles in 24-hour periods. This is the nightmare of an epic proportion that is just getting started. I'll tell you, man, I don't know how this is not really getting any publicity, because this is a very serious thing. It says here some of the largest swarms are actually bigger than any city on the entire planet. And when they arrive in an area, they start going to work immediately. In fact, it's being reported that some farms in Kenya are being devoured in as little as 30 seconds. That's freaking crazy. A swarm of locusts eating an entire farm in 30 seconds, under a minute. Under a minute. Crops destroyed. Folks, this is very, very serious. This is not something to ignore. This report said that those locusts could become 500 times larger by the time June comes. That's only a few months from now. And if they're doing this type of damage right now over in Africa, what's going to happen by the summer? Really? What's going to happen for the summer? It's going to be very bad, folks. It says here, could you imagine working extremely hard on a farm all year long and then all year long and then seeing it completely consumed by locusts in less than a minute? One Kenyan farmer had his farm destroyed by locusts. Listen, openly admitted that he considered committing suicide. Oh my gosh. Wow. He is affected psychologically to the extent of telling me that if worse comes to worse, I can even commit suicide. The reason being that this is the source of his income. He's been taking his kid to school using farm produce. He's been paying his bills using farm produce. So according to him, he says, Moses, if he continues to act on the government and not to act, then he's thinking of committing suicide. The fact is, what the heck can the government do about something like this? Well, I'm just asking the question. What can the government do about a 40-mile wide swarm of locusts? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. A medium-sized swarm of locusts can eat about the same amount of food as the entire population of Kenya, Klinsman said, and that a swarm in one day can eat the same amount of food as everybody here in the tri-state area of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York. So not taking action in time, you can see the consequences. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things going on right now. Ultimately, what all of this means is that we're going to see a famine. And I'm not just talking about the sort of famine where a few thousand people starve. Right now, those locusts are affecting countries with a combined population of nearly 2 billion. Folks, I'm not going to read the rest of the article. If you want to look it up for yourself, you go right ahead. But they've been talking about this for about a month now. And it is definitely something to be concerned about. This is one of the things that the Lord told us that's going to occur in the last days. He told us this is going to occur in the last days. Pestilences, earthquakes, and famines, folks. Famines. How do we know that those locusts are not going to come over this way? Where did they even come from? Is an even better question. And I read a little bit deeper into that article, and it says that they're actually breeding. So that's going to be a problem too, because that means they'll never go away. And eventually, if, let's just say hypothetically speaking, if they're destroying farms at this rate, by the time June gets here and they're 500 times larger, what if they destroy every farm in Africa? I mean, how long do you think it's going to take to cover the whole continent of Africa? Not very long for, within that time period. Let me tell y'all something. If you don't think that we're living in the last days, then you have got to be in denial. You got to be living under a rock. You have just got to be in a state of unbelief. Because when I say we're living in the last days, folks, this is the last of the last days. The last of the last days. Don't wait until the last minute to decide to get your life right with Christ. Do it today. Do it today. Because the signs are here. They're here. They're apparent. If you can stop being so busy and focus, look around you, you can tell that everything that Christ said is coming to pass. Come to Christ now, folks, while he still may be found. He loves you and he wants to take you in as his own. There's still much purpose for you. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. God bless you all. Take care. Peace.